This video is brought to you by Squarespace. Make your online presence stand out with Squarespace's award-winning web design, customizable templates, and easy-to-use platform.
Hi, my name is Mike Mattesi, and I am the creator of the Forest Drawing Method. You might know me by my Forest Drawing books, and I also run the website drawingforest.com. If you're interested in any of the stuff I'm going to share with you today, visit drawingforest.com. We have one-on-one mentorships there that we provide. There's premium membership where you get a recording once a month as feedback. And there's also a standard membership there where you can just sign on and get to watch all the video tutorials on the website. So Stan and I were trying to brainstorm around what to do for the month of March with Force. And we landed on this Proko challenge of Duel to the Death. Now, I would want to say I'm not an advocate of violence, but I love a good fight movie all the way from the Rocky films of the 80s to the Marvel movies of today. I want to say I'm really impressed with what came in. First of all, not only the amount, but the amount of creativity and the skill, right? And very varied. I'm a strong advocate in believing in sort of the cake or the house metaphor to drawing. So to me, you want to learn how to draw before you learn how to render. You want to learn how to render and even pencil, then to grayscale painting, to color painting, and so on, right? And then composition and so on. So you want to be mindful of that. Today, what I'm going to be doing is assessing this artwork on the posing, how dynamic the poses are, the kind of line used. I don't think this should be drawn with a stiff line. The more active the line is, the more this force fighting is going to come across, this sort of aggressiveness, right? We're also going to look at the relationships of the characters, right? So I'm going to be using my hands quite a bit. You know, my last name is Mattesi. I've got some Italian heritage in me, so I'm going to be doing a lot of this and this and this and this for you guys. We're going to talk about composition, and all this has to culminate in the concept of clear story, right? So the characters, each one of the characters alone, the characters together, how they relate to one another, how they're composed in an image, to all represent a clear fight scene, basically. Who's winning, who's losing, right? What's the story that's going on there? To help you better understand what we're after here is I have some artwork I want to share with you. Now, I started thinking, well, who else can I show you as a mentor besides me that would help us with this challenge? And the person that comes forward for me is Frank Frazetta, another Italian. So Frank Frazetta is amazing at having like two characters confronting one another in a composition, beautifully drawn, beautifully painted, right? Great color. I think one of the best artists in the last century, quite honestly. So for instance, this guy is reclining back. He's got his arm here, but his knife is coming out like this with his hand and pointing. And this Black Panther is up here with his mouth open, and they're looking at each other, right? There's a thing going on here. And he made his way over this branch, which is flowing towards the guy, by the way, and this sweeps down like this. So everything is here. It's well composed. The tree branches, everything is like framing it out, and there's lots of fluidity, right? Let's just look at the fluidity in these two characters. Awesome work. This is my favorite black and white piece of Frazetta's. Frazetta typically used an ink brush, right? So be aware of the line here and the skill it took to create this, right? Pretty darn amazing. What I love about this is compositionally, it's great, right? I love this connection between the woman's hair and this fist and how that ties up. So this guy's going this way. This guy's head's going this way. We know he was punched. You got this arm sweeping in between the two. You got these strong 45-degree angles, by the way. The strongest or most dynamic angle, I should say, is the 45, right? Get to hit that angle. Super dramatic, right? And on top of all of that, look at all the work he put in here, right? Notice all this force line, right? That's this, sweeping up through the body, over the shoulder, and around the deltoid, right? So all this fluidity is going on in there too. That honestly is masterful. I have to say, I don't throw that term around lightly. That is masterful. Masterful work. So let's start taking a look at your guys' work. I'm going to crank through this. We're going to talk about force, talk about composition, right? I love all the verticals in here. Characters, kind of vertical. I wish this had more drama. I like the idea of value change. You've got dark against light, and then this guy's like fading in here. He seems weaker. The tree's falling to the left. This guy has some power. This guy is surrounded by verticals, so there's some power going on there. I just wish there was more drama in the poses themselves. I love your grayscale valuing, kind of fun, but more drama would have been great. Here we have very strong 45-degree angle, got a lot of overlapping forms on top of one another. I like all these diagonals, really great. I wish this character down here had been bent back more like this. So it really feels like he's pushing against this guy, or maybe this guy's like pushing down on him. So maybe his head would have been here and his body would have been pushed more. And this guy's so bulbous on both sides, it doesn't feel like his body's curving. I probably would have tried to thin him out on this side and made the arc go this way more, you see? So fun stuff though, fun story. It's clear. So you can see my abstract. This is what I'm looking for. This is how I'm looking at your work too, by the way, right? I'm just very abstractly looking at it. This is a great example of what I was talking about with the line. The line does not have force. It's what I call like a coloring book line where it's all the same, right? Does that mean it can't be forceful? No. One of the things I talk about at drawingforce.com quite a bit is a comparison of Mike Mignola, who's the creator of Hellboy. Love his art, one of my favorites. Love the way he tells story. He creates force shapes, but they're drawn with like a micron pen. So the line doesn't have energy, but the shapes have energy. And then you compare him to someone like Glenn Keane. Shapes have energy and line has energy. So the drawings in totality feel like they have way more energy in them. The line, since it's of one thickness, it doesn't have force in it. This is the force line, by the way, for those of you who are like, what are you talking about? Again, this is the force line. Thin to thick to thin, basically. You see, like this. This is what Frazetta was using, right? So it has energy flowing through it. So that helps. The other thing here that would truly help, and I'm going to bring this up, I know, in nauseam over this video, is limbs and the torso. You don't want to put straight lines in there. You want to put curves. Curves are what create flow. So you have a little bit in the torso, but then the leg is straight, and so is the arm, so is the arm. What a lot of artists do, their habit is to create a stick figure and then kind of like flesh it out. Not a good idea. Not unless the stick figure itself has curves in it to create flow and dynamism and rhythm. I do like your color piece. I think the colors are really interesting. You have a very unique palette. But from a drawing standpoint, it needs way more drama. And here we have drama, right? So we got the one-on-one, clever. Compositionally, not so great because this is just so vertically stacked. We want more diagonals in there. This is horizontal, a little bit of diagonal, but lots of bend, right? For some of you who may draw or paint maybe even better than this artist, what you've got going is understanding the bend, and that's giving these characters lots of force. Look at just the opposite bends, right? Weak and beat up, confident and strong, right? Bending the back, pushing the chest out, right? Super heroic. A lot of great stuff going on in here. There's more that you would need to, let's say, win this challenge, but hats off. I think there's a lot of great stuff that you did in here. So good job. So again, a little bit of bend going on. So that's good. Composition's a little shotgunny. You know, if I'm trying to like see the shapes and how they relate to one another, it's kind of like this whole thing and then this whole thing. You want to be aware of creating overlaps right now. It looks like these guys are floating. I can't tell where the world is or what the perspective plane is. I would have maybe taken this can and overlapped his foot a little bit, right? Then you stack things, maybe put the other can behind it, right? Then you get more perspective. Our brain starts putting perspective together that way, you know? Not bad. You know, you got some curves, you got some form, some overlapping. It's interesting that two kids are watching and the cat's doing this thing. Little story moments, kind of cool. It's fun stuff. I love that the bag is knocked off here. That's cool too. This is a little too similar, right? We looked at Frazetta, right? It's great to get change in the forces abstractly. These kind of bracket out like this, almost parallel. So that's something to watch out for. So this is the same artist. Yeah. So you just got to push the curves, right? Push the curves into the anatomy, into the torso, very straight, very straight. It will immediately give you drama. I like this piece a lot. It's good. There's a lot of good stuff going on in here. You know, you've got this curve going on. I'm not sure if I like that this is on a diagonal. I don't know if I like that they perfectly line up with another, you know, like that. And this is very similar again. So there's a lot of the same thing, the leg, the head. I like the S in the neck. I like the curve in the torso, and you got some rhythm going on in the legs. But there's a lot of this, right? I think it could have been composed better, the figures composed better with a little bit more contrast and agitation in the angles. This one cracks me up. Ariel's not having a good day. And, you know, that fork is going in that eye, right? We can all see it. Arms a little stiff, a little bit more curve there. You can kind of make out Ariel's body in there because of the dark purple and the bright green. So I can kind of make my way through there. Very simple composition, very triangular, right? It's pretty good. It's got a lot of fun stuff going on in it. again, watch the curves. This could have been curved like this. This could be more dramatic like this. Adding just a little bit of arc to the anatomy would help. Interesting story. I would love to have seen her be more dramatic, right? She's just kind of standing there. I wish she was like more ready, bent down, getting the sword or pushing back, but something. She's just like one of the trees. More action. Even action stars on film, some are better, some are worse. Tom Cruise, one of my favorites when it comes to action. Everyone loves to watch him run, right? That's like the ongoing gag because it's fun. It looks like he's pushing himself, right? It's super dramatic. There's others that are not as great. This does not have force in it, right? It's just no force shapes. I love this 3D aspect. I like the composition and the Dutch angle. Yeah, it's just not force shaped, right? The 3D is challenging. You got to push it further. I love the Disney Infinity toys that were out a bunch of years ago. Those were great, right? I like this piece. I'm talking about line and treatment. This feels agitated, like it's got energy. I like all the lines around the edges, right? You guys see that? This is all kind of cool in here. It feels like it's vibrating, right? There's a lot of energy going on. I wish the poses were maybe a little more pushed. I wish this was bent more in, right? Like this guy was really punching more aggressively. Maybe his head could have been on an angle here like this, right? With his look more like that, you see? Maybe his arm would have been out a little bit further, right? Maybe the legs are separate. Separating the legs causes a lot of drama, right? Wide stance is heroic and balance. So you want to be able to push that, right? You can see what I'm doing abstractly is it starts targeting the other guy's face, right? By the way I'm shaping it out and bringing it over there. So good stuff. You draw relatively well. The painting's nice. I think more push, right? This one's another example of too straight, right? We've got straight, 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 straight. A little bit of arcing going on in here. It's got to be more curved, especially if you're going to do like Android stuff, right? Then you really got to start trying to arc the appendages in the torso to create the drama. Otherwise, it's very easy to get stuck in straight land, right? I like this one a lot. I love the agitation. I love the sort of splatter effect. My main note to this artist, to Anto Card, is compositionally, this is very straight and this is very straight. They parallel one another. Like there's a sandwiching in here. Instead of really feeling the way the punch would have hit, I don't know if this guy could have been leaning in more. Maybe this arm could have been higher up over here, but somehow breaking up the horizontalness. It's a little bit here too. There's a lot of like horizontal, horizontal, horizontal. I like that this breaks across it, the ropes and the perspective on the ring. And I love the creativity. I like these two characters with animal heads. I think that's pretty darn cool. It's also noticed done in a square fashion, probably for Instagram. And I think it's really hard to compose in a box, in a square box. Pretty good job for that. I like the looseness of this drawing. I would recommend do overlays on top of this over and over again and keep pushing the poses. I think you're at the first stage and you can get more dramatic, more drama. Story's cool. I can read it. It's clear. So that's good. So same here. Push this guy's chest up a little bit more just to give him a little more confidence. Maybe push the legs out a little further in perspective. So they're like this. Maybe his head could have been looking down more, right? So if I bring this over here, you see just giving him more strength. This guy's pretty good. I could follow the flow through here. I like that compositionally that guy's upper body breaks the horizon there. So he stands out against the clouds. This one, this, it's just this, right? And then we've got that. That's cool. And this, but too much of this, right? Too much parallel stuff happening instead of breaking it up in some kind of stronger angling, okay? If I were you, I would not worry about painting, right? Everyone wants to paint, right? Because it makes it look great, right? We all want to jump to the painting, but this needs more value control and then color. And color, man, color is a bomb, it's gigantic and you just want to start off with the basics. For you, I would say, don't worry about all this stuff. Just get better at drawing. Don't worry about all the other things. I like the scale. I love that you have this big guy and this little guy. It's really cool. And the story is cool. But there's so many other things still to learn before you get to this place where you're trying to like paint out your own illustrations. So similarly, the value of the guy and the monster are very much the same. So if I squint, the silhouette of the guy is wrapped in the creature. I can't see him. All I see is this like foot that pops out of the bottom and underneath this guy's leg, right? Color's not bad. I like the color, but the value is off. and there could be more force in it. This character here is they're both very straight. One of the things we're going to talk a lot about today is the torsos and bending the torsos, folks, right? Bending that damn trunk of the tree and giving the body a twist or a turn or a bend. It's the core, it's the trunk of the body, right? You want to get all that energy working there before the limbs. These are all too straight again. Limbs are just too straight, right? So more bending in the limbs. Some cool stuff going on here. Again, I think this could be pushed more. This is a very stiff torso, right? Push the torso, get that shoulder up, push the other one down, right? Then that goes from here, and then the throw happens, right? With the spear. This one's better. You got this going, you got this going, you got that going. That's good. This arm could have a little curve in it from the shoulder like that. This arm could as well, right? This leg, I think I would, it looks awkward there, like it's dead. I think I would bend it more like that, right? So some good stuff going on, just need more work. You know, I was looking at this one. If this wasn't a force challenge, it was just a fight challenge. I'd say it's kind of cool because I like that it's not the fight yet. It's like before the fight or the challenge. Kind of cool. It's got a diagonal running through it. It's interesting. It looks relatively drawn well. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't have force, right? I'm looking for who's going to come in with the biggest punch, right? This has a lot of energy, but some of the rhythms don't work. Like the face up here feels a little stuck on. I wish it was connected more to the body. I like the pulling and the striations across the pecs and the deltoid, you know, and this guy's deltoid and pecs as well. It just feels a little disconnected. It feels like it's from a photograph. It's nothing wrong with painting from photos, and we're going to see more of this, but it's challenging, right? It's challenging to look at the photo and extract force from it. It's one of the things we struggle with at the website and getting students to look at photography and say, hey, see the abstract that's going on there, right? Very easy to not do that and just copy. You don't want to copy, you want to study, right? And learn and extract the abstract. I had to throw this in here because it's a cat and a banana. This is one of the farthest, stretched concepts of the ones that we will see today. I like the yellow to yellow. I thought that was kind of funny as well. Same artist, Brett, right? Brett, this is actually a great idea, but it doesn't look like this chicken is doing anything, right? So imagine if we felt the force of the chicken pulling. You know, this worm is over here all tied up with his body, and the chicken could have been like biting here and pulling against him that way, right? Like so, and like really pulling his neck out that way. And his beak would be stretching that way because he's pulling the rope. Right now, this chicken's standing straight up and down. It's like nothing's happening. Force is physics, everyone, right? And it brings validity to your work. It makes it more real. This is very dense and it's hard to see what's going on. Thank God they're different colors, not only in skin, but in clothes, because it gets really tough. Like I don't see this negative space, right? It's very hard to notice that. What I see is a giant sort of box on the diagonal like this, you see? So I just think it's tough to do the ones where bodies are wrapping into one another. Very big challenge to give them separate flows and to give them as a unit of flow in a direction as well. Super challenging.
Put these on. Hey! Stay away from me. I'm telling you, you dumb son of a...
Same with this one. You paint okay, right? Some decent painting going on, but the poses need more energy, more power. They're very stiff in the torsos and the legs. You got to loosen up, you know, especially at the beginning in the drawing stage of things. I love this one. I think this was an awesome idea. These are all Brett's. I think this was an awesome idea. I love the whale like this, but look at the spear. The spear is going the same darn direction. Right? If you want to show drama, you would go this way. You see in the opposite direction. So it's like that, right? Boom, right? Two diagonals against one another. Way more powerful, you see? And the horizon or horizontal is almost 50-50. You see what I mean? It's like half up here, half up here. Not a very dramatic pose. Man, if you had put this on a diagonal, the water on a diagonal, the ship coming in, the spear hitting, it'd be a whole other ballgame. It would have shot this up with drama so much further up the ladder, right? Great idea. Just execute, understand diagonals, understand force. And that's it. So thank you, Brett, for submitting those pieces. Some decent stuff going on here to consider, with one pencil. I think I wish that the back and the head and neck like related here better. It's weird that there's no teeth down the side of the mouth. I like the pull of the mouth this way. There's some force going on here that's kind of cool, like this. And I like this sweeping this way. This was probably done from a photo again. You just got to know what to look for. If you're going to do the photographs, then man, you got to know what to look for, right? It's like J.C. Linedecker and Norman Rockwell, artists who I love, Dean Cornwell. You got to look at these guys and understand, how did they look at reference and extract force, form, shape, light and shadow, and so on. Some decent posing in the characters. They could be pushed more, and I wish they were reacting more. It looks like they're both there posing. They have nothing to do with one another. Like, this guy's looking at him, but who's he looking at? The cameraman, right? Like, what's happening here, right? What are you doing? So this diagonal to me is kind of distracting. Feels like it's almost like two paintings. It feels like it separates the scene, and these two aren't relating to one another. They should have crossed over a diagonal more to make them feel like it's one whole painting. This character's not bad. You got some form and rhythm going on in here. I wish this one was maybe more dramatic, right? This guy, I wish that his body had been here more. Right. So now the head, getting punched from underneath this stiff arm, that could be straight, actually, right? Really power that, but push this up like that, pull the body back from there, give this guy his wide stance, but more rhythm in the stance, right? Lean him forward more. Usually a punch doesn't usually come with your chest pushing forward. The punch comes over the top, right? Like here towards camera, and it like arcs over your back, right? So this would have been more like this going into this, you see? And then his head would have been much more forward as well to follow that arc. You see what I'm saying? And then all of this would be responding to that. You see, so when I get rid of the art, you look at my abstract schematic, you could start seeing how this works, right? It is almost like a schematic. This character matches the background too much. This red and yellow are almost the same as the background, so she starts getting lost, and the limbs are too straight. They need more curves of force. This one's kind of cool. I like this. I like that. I like that. I like that, right? Some cool stuff. I wish this had it sort of outside, inside, outside on the leg a little bit more. This could have been maybe out to the side just a little bit to give it a better silhouette. But there's some cool stuff going on here. I really like that to that. You're starting to touch upon the relationship of the two characters to one another. So that's pretty good. Pretty cool. I like the agitation and activity in the brush strokes. That adds force to the painting. There's energy in this painting. It's drawn with energy. Pretty good posing on this character. Pretty good posing on this character. I like it. I think it's a good piece. I think you did a good job of meeting the challenge. I like the strong diagonal, how you Dutch angled the shot. There's a tangenting here with the wing and the arm, but not the worst case scenario, right? Here, maybe a little bit more diagonal. The sword matches up with the body. This guy could have been way more dramatic. This character's got a lot of drama. This guy could be way more dramatic in how he's posing out the scene. But it's cool. There's a lot of good stuff going on. It's a fun little drawing. I like the light coming through the wings and the light over there. Yeah, there's good stuff happening. So this is a set of 2 or 3. I think it's a little story. So we got this one. We got these guys then fighting. And there's another character here over the horizon. I think the characters are really cool. I love this character off in the distance. I wish there was more relationship. This guy's not really doing much of anything, and this guy could have been way more dramatic. I love the scale. It just needs more drama for my taste. Even here, they're kind of stiff, You seem to be doing better with the drama of the scene than the drama of the characters, okay? So here's another wrestling match scene. These, like I said, I think these are tricky. It gets a little muddy in here as to like, oh, yeah, that's the guy's legs. Yeah, that's his legs versus his arms, and then this guy's working here. But not bad. I have to say, still pretty good for what it is. Pretty difficult. Fortunately, it held a clear silhouette on that leg. I like the force this guy's head going into the ground, the other guy coming over. Maybe more agitation in the line and more energy. Here's a great example of painting again from reference, but it doesn't have energy in it, right? So we want to bring more power to it. You did a good job of trying to copy the photograph with the light and shadow and all the highlighting and stuff on their skin. But it needs more drama and cohesiveness in the boxers. Here, very straight in the arm, the leg, right? I like the idea. This is craziness, right? This guy breaking up into water and this guy standing in water. I'd love to hear more about this story. There's a lot of interesting things happening in here, but it could use way more force. Same here. This to me looks like a giant rectangle, right? A little bit more curve in the legs, and these are all very straight. So just more force, more curves, more drama. I really contemplate on this one for a while. I like the way it's painted. It's got a lot of movement. It's a little hard to read whose body is whose here. I wish she had somehow figured out a further separation, maybe in the grayscale. Collectively, I like that this giant shape feels like it pushes down this way. That's very cool to me. That's the leading edge. This is from animation, that's called leading edge, where things are moving. So great leading edge there. I like the style of the painting, a little tough to read. It's pretty cool though. Definitely one of the stronger pieces, pretty awesome. Anytime you have foreshortening, you still want the arc. This is very straight in the foreshortening of the lion's arm. This guy's got a lot of force, right? You got this curve. This is straight. This is a little straightish, but the body is arcing really well. Compositionally, it's 50-50 in the tree in the middle. You want to watch out for that. It's more of a compositional issue that you're running into there. I looked at this one quite a bit as well. A lot of skill going on here. This arm doesn't make sense to me. I was thinking about this pole and his head and where the pole is. I think this arm should have gone back in space, not forward, right? Go back behind his head, kind of like what I have right here, like this. And this weird tangenting that drives me bonkers over here is this. See how the lat muscle here lines up right with the pole. And I keep thinking it's like one and the same thing. You see how it looks like one giant pole? With all that aside, there's a lot of awesome drawing skill going on in here. Great form in the pants, excellently done. The perspective of the shot, the ground plane, the characters. We had a lot of skill going on, I have to say. It's very good. I just wish I had a little bit more bending and movement in it. But man, a lot of good stuff going on. I love those strong 45-degree angles of black and white patterning with the smoke at the top. It was a very close contender. No joke, I was staring at this one for a while. Very good. I love the comic book format here, but everything is very stiff and straight, right? Here we run into the same thing with the lion. This guy's moving around a little bit, right? We've a little bit of this going on, a little here, but kind of straight. This is very straight. So anytime you're piling up those forms, right, it's like shoulder, elbow, wrist. You don't want a straight line. You want to say shoulder, elbow, wrist, and bend, right? Connect them through a bend. Then you're going to get more drama. Just piling up stuff for foreshortening alone, not that exciting. And if you're going to get some excitement out of it, at least make the thing that's closest to us bigger so we feel the scale. Some pretty good stuff going on here. I'm not sure about the commentator and this little guy down here, little creatures. I'm not sure how that fits in. But the fight's not bad. It's clear. I can tell what's going on. There's some force. You got some lines for structure. Some good stuff happening. For a dramatic scene, I wouldn't have cut it in half again. 50-50s are more boring compositions. You got some good force going on here. This guy's going this way. This one, for me, the line on the edges gets into coloring book. This is all like been traced out thickly with the same line. It actually takes away from the energy. It's what I was talking about with Mignola and Glen Keane, right? So I would say watch for that. Be careful about that. You had some good stuff going on here. Silhouette's pretty clear. Posing's pretty clear. The line, not so great. So this one, man, this body here, if this had just been bent more, right? There's a great example of like straight, right? Straight torso versus like this, way more dramatic, right? Maybe this outside, inside, outside on this leg. I like the wide stance, right? We've talked about that today. Yeah, just way more dramatic. And then his head would have ended up in a different position. I probably would have diagonaled it, bent the arm this way. It always bends on the elbow side, by the way, the rhythms like that, right? Yeah, so similarly, it's more of a composition thing. Some good drawing skill, painting's okay. Torso's very straight. Then we have all these like lines that like line up. I like this. You're kind of framing out her a little bit, and this points to her. That's kind of cool too. I like the depth of field, the blur effect, all that's fun. I think here it just gets a little bit less active. Could have used more energy. Painting is pretty good here. I wish there was more rhythm in the body, like from here to here. And I wish that with that kind of punch coming in, her body would have been leaned back more so we could feel her body falling from the punch. Again, this is probably from a photograph. That's where it gets tricky, right? You have to find the life in the photo, okay? The blue guy in this one has some good movement, right? It goes like this and gets to the thumb. This guy's just kind of standing there. I like the scale. I like that these guys are big. We've got this little guy down here watching them. It's kind of interesting story. I'd be interested in knowing more of what's going on. But the guy in orange is not that strong, not that forceful. Some good drawing skill, decent painting skill, right? Good composition skill, more drama. That kind of leads us to this one, talking about compositions. When I look at this, I see this. There's one diagonal in here, but it's a light and shadow diagonal. comparison to the guy's doing something. I like the idea. It looks like he's fighting himself. That's kind of cool. But you can see how stiff it is, right? It's like a box, like a shoe box, right? You can grab it. It's super strong and stiff, but it's not dynamic, believe it or not. This is kind of Frazetta style, I have to say, with the centering this way, right? But man, this guy could have been so much more exciting to have his head here. And I would have had his back arched more, had his arm doing something more exciting. Maybe he's got his hand open here. Just more dramatic. Look at this guy standing up straight too. Got to watch the torsos, folks, right? Torsos are key. Same here, right? Straight, straight, horizontal, horizontal, straight, straight, horizontal, straight, like a grid. So it has no energy. Believe it or not, it's very stiff energy for what is happening here. It's not very dynamic. The only thing really on a diagonal is this guy's head. All right, we got chickens fighting. The line's not very dramatic. It's not really helping. I like that they're on a diagonal. That does help. I like the claw sticking out there in the negative space. I think that's cool. I wish the birds had more drama, more curves of force in them. So I think you submitted a couple of pieces. I like this one better. I wish the X of those weapons was out here more in the negative space. You got some curve going on here. This character's kind of straight. This one at least has some movement, but I think you're building off of straight lines a little too much. Watch your form. It's like you got a 3/4 view mouth on a 2-dimensional flat-sided head. It's almost like saying the top of the head is like this, but the jaw is like this. You see, it doesn't work. I like this a lot. I actually changed this already prior. Originally, Panthro, right, was vertical, and I changed his direction. So I cheated this. It didn't come in like this, everyone. I changed it because I wanted to show you, the artist, Herbalicious, Herb, that this would be more dramatic as I rotated it up, because then his forearm comes in like this. It's more aggressive. Watch the tangenting. Never want something like that to happen. The knee right up against the leg. It like, boom, pancakes it immediately, flattens it out, right? I used to love Thundercats. What a great show opening, right? One of the best, I think one of the best ever in the history of animated shows. This one I looked at a lot. This was very close to being a contender for one of the 3 places, Herb. I just want you to know, because I think you did a good job. The only reason it really wasn't, again, is this and this are very horizontal to one another or parallel to one another. I like this a lot. I like this a lot. I like that a lot. Compositionally, it could have been better. It's the same thing I did with the Panthro piece. I would rotate her more this way and get her even more upright. So her diagonal is like this and her legs like this, and this is her torso. I think that might have put you up into contention a little further. It's drawn really well. Maybe the line could be a little more agitated versus so clean, just to pump up the craziness. One of my favorite artists is a guy named Bill Sienkiewicz. He's great proof of using art to say exactly what you want to say. When things are aggressive, they should feel aggressive and agitated in the art as well. You don't want to do a super aggressive drawing with super tight line, right? You want to see if you can match all that up. Figures are too small, and I can't see the spear. Just can't see it. Like one of the most important elements, I could see the back end, not the front end. I wish it was closer in so we could feel the fight. I wish there were more curves in the chameleon, basically, to fight the snake. I like the watercolor aspect. I like the pointing of the leaves compositionally, kind of cool. I like that you draw roughly. I really brought that in to show you that. But here, compositionally, right, we run into the 50-50 split. Not good, not in a scene of action. And the figures are kind of stiff in that they're still straight lines, even though you sketch a lot, which I love. You sketch to straightness instead of arcs and curves. Same here. This is a 50-50 split going this way, right? So you can see half-half. This guy's not doing anything. He's just straight up and down. This guy's got some force because he's curving like that. I wish this guy had, more, right? More force, more form, more shape design, more diagonals and composition, more contrast, right? Equals more drama. And we want drama. Too close on their faces. I wish there was more of the bodies, not enough of a fight in here. And they're very straight, right? It's very straight. I like the angles, but there's no force really happening. Look at this, on the other hand, similar style. This has a lot of force. Look at the curves, right? Just putting in more curves creates so much more drama. Big to small. Look at the size of that hand to that hand. I love it. Super dramatic. It's cool. I like that curve. I like that curve. It's a good piece, I have to say. Good color, too. I like the bluish purples against the oranges and yellows, so you're playing complements. Got a lot of good stuff. It was a strong contender as well. I did look at this one for a while. I can't tell what's going on here, perspective-wise. There's the horizon out there, and you can see the ground is flat. Look, if I were to go perpendicular to this like this is the perspective that this is at. So they should be like falling off of this. Quite honestly, it'd be hard to stand there. You got some curves of force in the body, but the paint style, the sort of soft rendering, sort of takes away from the energy of it all. This is a story of straights, right? Straight torso, straight legs, straight torso, straight legs. Don't rush to tighten up your drawing, please, right? Draw rough, longer, find the curves, find the rhythms, find the forces, right? Here's an example, right? Straight, straight, straight. And if you want to learn how to draw a lot, draw light and rough and build over time to teach yourself how to draw. Learning how to draw is drawing more, right? You got to draw a lot. So don't rush to a tight drawing. Look at the difference in curved lines versus straight lines, right? This is what creates fluidity and flow and drama. Some fluidity and curve and drama in here. I do wish that there was more in the drawing, but not bad, right? You got some fluidity. It's a little overcomplicated in here. Tangenting of the chest to the toe, they don't jive well together, the two characters. Too small, too straight. I like the cloud. I think the cloud's cool and how it points from one guy to the other. That's cool. I feel like you've taken some composition classes, but you should work on drawing, right? Better drawing first. I had to put this one in here, right? It's of the times. Yeah, let's all kick, COVID in the face. Love it. I like the agitation in the line here. Both the figures are kind of stiff. They're very linear. They're very angular. Again, they don't have curves, right? But I like the styling of it a lot. I like the line in there. These guys are stiff as well. You see how you have this big curve here? I would have curved this way and straightened out here. Now he's leaning into this shoulder. And then I would have brought this arm up over the top like this. And this guy could have been arcing. It's like you almost wanted to do it. And then I would have had his shorts go this way. So it looks like we're looking up at these guys. It's so simple to go in and actually fix it. Just stay away from those straight shapes, guys, right? Again, all straights, right? Look, straight, 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 straight. This looks like it was built off a stick figure, basically. And that's what happens, right? Ends up all being very stiff. You got some drama going on, but go further, right? Like you're going to bend her body, right? Like she's like this. Let's push the drama. Bring the leg out further. Bring that leg back, right? Bring this out. Yeah, way more dramatic. So this artist, M. Ribo, I brought in a couple of your pieces. I just want to share with everyone your process. I like the rough, tighter, the drawing, the rough over here, and then building up to color and the effects. It needs more force, though. Dragon's not bad. The girl's very stiff in the torso. But I like your process a lot. And I love that you sent this in to share with everyone. Pretty cool. But you got to watch your straight lines. I'm not a big fan, believe it or not, of like ballet. Sometimes gymnastics is good, but they're perfecting to look at this pose. It's very stiff and straight. She's like, look, my straight arm, my straight leg. Like, no, I don't want to see straight arms and straight legs. I want to see people not posing. I want to see people working, right? I did an overlay on this one I want to share with all of you. So you can see, look at how much drama I put over the horse with all these arcs of force. I drove the knight back, curved the arm, curved the girl's body, spread her legs further apart, and curved her arms, right? And then look at what happens, right? It's like an animation, right? You could see how everyone gets more drama going on, right? Through force and rhythm. So same here, right? Straight torso, slightly bent torso, but the legs are very straight, right? It's almost like the gymnastics thing we just looked at. In fact, maybe these were taken from gymnasts. That could very well be. They look like gymnast poses. This artist, Maelstrom, I would just recommend you get more drawing skill in. Focus on the drawing. Focus on form, right? Focus on force. Be aware that you understand the space that everything lives in. If it's through turning edges and boxes, or if it's through wrapping, but more structure and form. And then you got compositionally of this and this. Okay, not too bad. There's a little horizontal. Just more drawing, way more drawing. This artist, Mattesi, sent in a bunch of pages that were very creative with a story. That was all awesome. I picked the one that had mostly the fight in it. I think a tug of war would have been a great idea for anyone. So very clever. Figures are too small, and I wish there was more force in the images themselves, right? But you got a lot of creative ideas, I have to say. I'll give you that. This guy is getting kicked in the side and nothing's happening, right? Like, why not bend him? Boom, right? He's getting kicked. Shoulder's going to drop. This side's going to, push up because of all the force of this guy's leg pushing in. So you want action reaction. With the perspective here, I think these pants would have been much more of an open ellipse to give us more drama, more like this, right? Because his leg's coming out towards us. So yeah, I think the big thing here missing is action reaction. This one, the grayscale is so close, and the values that it's hard to look at. I think actually you did much better with your drawing, quite honestly. And I got to tell you, you're an amazing candidate for drawingforce.com because you're kind of there. You just need to learn how to connect this stuff, right? It's like, hey, take this, push into the shoulder, get to the back of the arm and down, find out that the back relates to the neck and head, right? This sweeps into the leg, comes over the top and down. This is probably an outside, inside, outside. You just need to learn the templates, better line, and man, you'd be off to the races, right? Look at the end there. You see? It's all connected. They're a little stiff. It seems like there's action, but they're rendered stiffly. They're kind of very posy. Yeah, I just wish it was looser. Same here. Robot's very stiff. This character might as well be one of the columns, like super stiff. Curve the guy, right? Give him some energy and power. And same with this guy. It's like I'm looking at 4 bars, right? We want to get away from those bars. I can't tell what's going on here, like story-wise. It looks like they're in a crowd and they're looking up at me, but they're not. It doesn't look like they're competing with one another. I can't tell. I don't know if this girl's hair is choking this girl. I'm not sure I don't know what's happening. Sorry. This girl's very straight. This girl's starting to connect, but man, the rib cage could have been bent more and take that up to the arm and down. It's very straight, and then push this down like that. I think you're getting into rendering too fast. You're getting caught up in like the shiny red button. It's too finessed, highlights and shadows, but the drawing isn't there yet. And the connectivity, the whole body's there yet. I would back off of rendering for just a little bit. It might only be a month or two and get the drawing better and then go back. This is interesting. I think good use of shadows and the figure, not bad. I wish there was more force and everything and maybe more going on between the two. It's really one character, right? So it's clever as an illustration, but not great for the challenge. These are fun. There's a group of these, right? These are 10-minute drawings, 2 characters. That's pretty good to get 2 characters interacting. I love these quick drawings here as well, 2 minutes. Pretty cool. Man, that one's really good. Lots of great fluidity and drama. Yeah, they're good. I like them. I think I like the singles better than the couple, here fighting each other. But fun stuff. Good line. The line feels energetic, right, as I was saying before. An energetic line. I like these too. There's a bunch of this. This is Nin Hero, right? Bunch of drawings here. I like this one. There's some good shapes in here, good lines, lots of movement. You could take this and render it with pencil or paint it, and it would work. The energy would hold up in the bodies, right? They're abstract and clear enough to work. It's pretty good. This one, I think it's a little overcomplicated. Same with this one. It's like his head disappears and his whole body. I just see butt and legs, right? This one's, everything's very vertical. I wish there was some more diagonals in it. This one, I don't understand why this guy isn't a diagonal and falling when all that's happening is a block in the hand. It's a little confusing to me. It doesn't feel grounded. I think there's a loss of gravity and weight on this one for me. This one you sent in the reference. I think the reference was tough in the first place, and so hard to get a great image out of a hard reference. Here you want to watch out for the sausage arms or legs. On my website, we talk about forced shape. So this is what I call the turkey leg. So it's basically like this, and then it inverts, right? And we might as well stick the bone here on the bottom. So double convex, double concave, right? And then there's no force because it's symmetrical, right? So that kills it. I like the illustrativeness of this. I happen to enjoy when there's like line art that's blown up and big behind color like this. I love that idea. I like that the composition has an angle, but there's like a big box going on in here. It's kind of similar to some of the other ones. It makes it rigid. You want like a diagonal between the characters as well. There's some good stuff going on. You're kind of good at like illustration and almost from a marketing art standpoint, getting stuff to look good, but the composition could be better and the force between the figures. You're doing something that's very difficult to do, I have to say. You did a great job of getting the perspective down and getting the characters to really feel like they're standing in the perspective. Very hard. I wish the characters had more force, but I admire the skill that you're showing here. I have to say, it's pretty good, right? Drawing a scene and getting guys in there, not an easy task. Nice job of drawing, great lines on the anatomy and everything here. I just wish I had more drama. More drama, man. You might have been top 3. It's very good. A lot of great stuff happening there. Kind of stiff, right? We got this explosion of blood and everything, but look at the figures. Kind of stiff torso. They're not that dramatic. What happened was dramatic, but they're not that dramatic. This one, I wish the painting was stronger. It's almost hurting the layout and the design and the poses, because this is great. We have a curved torso. I like this arm blocking. I like this leg shooting out that way and this shooting out that way. We have these two big arrows attacking the guy, right? Maybe more curve could have been in here in the back. But the painting starts actually stiffening up your idea, but compositionally, the relationship of the two characters to one another is very good. Yeah, very good. This is pretty stiff. It's kind of the big box thing again. I like the arm back there that has a nice arc in it. I wish that he was fighting Farquaad, right? What a funny name. Hats off to whoever came up with that one. This is very Frazetta, so I love that you're inspired by him. The bodies are not really that curvy. Here's the chicken leg again, and here, right? So a lot of ellipses happening up here too, over here too. So that's hurting your fluidity, and this arm is very straight and down. You got some curve going on here. I can't see the torso. It looks straight. I would put the painting aside for a little bit and work on the drawing, because you've got the right ideas. You're enamored with the right concepts, but they're not there yet. This is funny as heck because I have two dogs, and just seeing this dog having a fight with his own tail is a hysterical idea, but the drawing needs way more force, right? It's clever. I'm going to give you that, but it needs more force. Kind of cool. I think like you're onto a style here for yourself with all the line. There's a bunch of artists out there that use a lot of line like this. I would look at Charles Dana Gibson. I would check him out. It might help you in finding your aesthetic. Keep learning how to draw. You still have more learning to do, but you're going somewhere. It's pretty good. I wish the guy on the bottom had been more curved from the kick, right? I like the upper body here. The leg's very straight. This one's a little awkward, the perspective. You need more like work on perspective and structure and so on. This one's got this dramatic diagonal going through it, but then she's diagonal. So we have a big X. And then I can't see what's going on here. I mean, I can, but it's hard, right? It's really hard. So it's too chaotic. I can't tell what's going on. We want action, but clear action. And that's an art form, right? Really an art form. This is cool. I like, it makes me think of Halo with the red and the blue. But they're not really that active. They're built on straight lines again, not very curved. Okay. Same here. Gruesome scene with a lot of straight lines, right? Look at the straight lines, right? The only curve I really see is this guy's back. Everything else is straight. Same with Superman, right? Man, Superman could have had like this very curved chest over here, like pushing like this. You see, really pushing his chest out against this guy. This guy's very stiff and straight. He could have been fighting more and bent this way. It could have had way more drama. Just bend the torsos, folks. Look, torsos, there's a C, an S, a CS, and an RS. There's 4 types. They're all on drawingforce.com. And we make the students learn this stuff hands down because it's the core of the body. If you don't know that, it doesn't even matter if you get curves in the arms and legs. The torso's stiff, it's over. Okay, so you really need to see what those torsos are doing. It's busy, right? Super busy. Lots of detail, but I can't see what's going on. I mean, I can because I'm an artist and I'm used to looking at art. But someone else looking at this, I have to like make out his mane and the body and the legs and the pelvis and the hand. And where's the hand coming from? And then there's a little guy down here with a key, which at first I didn't see at all, right? So it's too muddy of a composition, way too busy to see what's going on. Could it have been saved with color and value? Sure. But I don't like relying on that. I want to get that in the drawing first. Then I want to get that in the render and in the grayscale of things, right? So it just needs to be clearer, right? Clearer. This one's got some force in it, and that's that. And this has a little curve. This gets stiff, this gets stiff, this gets stiff, this gets stiff, right? So there's a little bit of something going on here, and then stuff stiffened up. We've got a little curve going on here too. You've got a lot of form stuff going on, but no force, right? You can see you've learned the trick of piling up forms, right? That's obvious. See? Boom, 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 boom. Things are piled up. But there's no flow, right? It's because they're all on straight lines of pile up, right? They need to be on an arc. This was on an arc. This would have changed it all. You see what you did here with this like magic? Take this and get it in the body, right? Got to get those curves, all that fluid, ghostly stuff, whatever you're doing there, right? Get that in the figure. It will dramatically change your work, I promise. Too symmetrical, right? No force. Force is not symmetry. Kills it. This is an example of bad shapes, right? We get the sausagey. I call this the sausage or taffy when there's force on both sides equal. It feels like it gets tied up at the top and bottom. So you got it there, there, there. And by the way, I was guilty of this. I wasn't born knowing force. I used to do the same thing. So I'm not trying to beat you up or any of you up. I did this. I had to learn my way out, right? So I'm trying to show you, don't create taffy or the sausage, okay? I love the idea of this illustration, but look at the guy, right? He's got his subtle bend and his arms are straight, right? His feet are close together, right? More drama, right? More and more drama, folks. Think about you taking the pose. We just stand there like that. If you want to really feel it, right? You would push your chest out. He would be like this. His legs would be like this. And then his arms would come up like a rock star at a concert. Way more dramatic, right? Just kind of like, hey, everyone, right? Peace. Same here, right? Like you got some structure, but man, it needs a lot of force. You know, you've got like these creative ideas, but they don't have energy in them, right? You're, again, great candidate for drawingforce.com. You need to learn drama of rhythm and so on. They're almost here, they're almost matching each other in curves. And then this and this, it feels like they're mirroring. The scale of how far away from them is good. It's not too far. It's not super close. This guy feels like he's standing on the ground here. I'm a little confused by that. It just needs to be better. You know, you're on the right track. It just needs more. This one I could barely see. The value between the black and the dark purple, it's too close. I can't see this. I know the bad guy's sitting there, but I can't see it. This could use a strong curve in the torso, and then I would have bought into him swinging. It's too straight. Lots of curves. Notice curves, everyone, right? Oh my God, we're starting to get curves in here. Curves, curves, curves. Look at that, right? So you have some fluidity going on. You need to learn more structure. It's easy to get fluid and not have structure, and then everything's curvy and rubbery, and it loses tension and strength and form. This piece is interesting to me. I have to say, it looks very much like a Bern Hogarth, like an older illustration style. I love this area. I love the trapezius hooking up to the back of the neck, and you can feel the turning of the head. It doesn't feel like a fight to me, first of all. I don't know if it's really right for the challenge, but some cool stuff going on in here, I have to say. By now, hopefully you guys know what I'm going to say before I say it, right? Straight and straight kind of makes a box like this. I like the head idea breaking up into pieces. That's kind of cool. No diagonals and no curves, right? No curves of force. This would have been way more powerful to come in with a punch on an arc like that. You see? I looked at this one. I like this piece. I like the painting. I wish it was more dramatic, but you got this. At a high level, it's got this good abstract of like a direct. In my book, it's like this. Directional forces are blue. I mean, this would be blue, and applied force would be the orange here, like that. So it has that in it. I wish it was more. This guy could have been bent more. This guy could have stepped into the punch even further, but some good stuff. It's pretty good. Some good bending going on in here as well, right? You got this to this to this. Interesting diagonals. I wish the girls or women were not on the same exact diagonal, right? They're almost in this like little runway. You know, so it feels like there's just these three big shapes going like this. I think that could have been tweaked out a little bit more. And her torso is very straight, and so is hers, right? So good curves in the legs and arms, the appendages, but not the torsos. Some good stuff going on here. Anatomy's a little funny in the shoulder over here. I would say don't get into the painting so much. Again, stick with the drawing a little longer. But there's some good stuff going on. It feels active. It's a pretty decent fight scene. You can see the stuff going on. Yeah, some good work. I brought these in because this is for the next piece, and the artist sent in their roughs, right? This is great. This is what I'm doing, right? I'm basically looking at your guys' work today with these abstractions of arrows and flow. So this is actually pretty good. Very strong start. Here, when you finally got to your end, some odd choices, though, made for directions of force. Force is always on the back of the arm, so the arm shouldn't bend that way. It should go this way. Same here, like that. This is good. Right? This leg is good. I love the rhythm of that leg. So you got some good stuff going on. The arms, I think, are the place that were the most broken. Composition's too vertical. You already have it with the bamboo. I would have diagonaled the characters from one another, and more drama, right? More drama in the poses. This one cracks me up. I have to say, I had a good laugh seeing this show up. This was Over the Top, I think, with Sylvester Stallone. Horrible 80s film. Sorry, Vivi, if you end up liking it. Man, this one's interesting to talk about. I don't believe what's happening here. There's like no tension in their hands. There's no tension in the muscles. Like they're shaped and all, but I don't feel the power. And something's missing from a story standpoint, a functional standpoint as to how Stallone's body would be working here to make this happen. So it's like a good, tight illustration. I think you have a future in doing pencil illustrations. You could even do this. I guarantee you'd get hired for some things, right? But for force, it needs more reality of function in it. It feels a little plastic to me. You got a lot of good drawing skill. Really pay attention to the nuances that make this stuff more real. I love this female character. Awesome A+ force. Look at the torso. This is a CS. See torso shape with S inside of it with rotation. Fantastic. This guy's not doing anything, right? So she's great. He's not. If he had been as great as her, you'd probably be in the top 3, honestly. Very good. I can't see what's going on here. It's like, man, I just wish the values here would be better because it looks like it might be drawn okay, right? But I can't see anything. It's too dark, way, way too dark. This guy's body is too straight. It's too stiff compared to the fact that he's getting kicked in the face, right? Yeah. It's too straight, right? It needs more energy. I would have drawn that over and over again to push it. Kind of fun stuff going on here. Robot's got some good curves, right? We've got some flow in here. This almost feels like it'd be cool for sort of a teen to children's book illustration. I like the lighting that it's inside the painting, and then you got another light back there on the giant robot. The world is kind of cool. A lot of creative stuff going on, some good movement. This one, I can't tell what the figures are doing. I'm not crazy about the parallel of the green to the sword. I do like the wings coming out and sort of almost stabbing this other character. It needs work in composition, and the characters look like they're like this, right? Parallel to one another. And we don't want that. I like the movement of this foot smashing down in the sand, but I can't really see the other guy at all. I could see, I think, a cut off arm and maybe a head and something swooping up. I think I see a leg. It's too undescribed. I like when things come into hiding and reveal themselves, but it's a little too much. I can't really tell what's happening. This is the opposite, super clear. My recommendation to you, to Zero Draw 21, draw more. You're getting to the end too fast. You need more time to draw, sculpt, form, shape, all that stuff. Don't race to the finish. Just make color pieces. I promise you it's the fastest way to learn how to draw is draw more. This one cracks me up. I looked at this one for quite a bit. I love that Nemo's in there and Poseidon is stopping Nemo from getting caught. A lot of force in the fishing pole pulling down. I love the scale change of small to big. A lot of great stuff going on here. I think it's pretty darn fun. If I had any note, I wish Poseidon maybe had a little bit more force in his body, but it's fun. Great composition too, with the narrow top and the big bottom. Yeah, it's fun. It's good. Okay, we're almost there. This is cool. It's got a lot of good force and rhythm in it. Some good movement. I like the idea of fencing. I think it's a great concept as a topic, just that the winners have more in them, but it's good. It's some good stuff happening here. This one, it reminds me of an illustrator from the 90s. I can't remember the guy's name, but he did a book called Stinky Cheese Man that I know my wife really loved that artist. It reminds me of that. So check out Stinky Cheese Man, the children's book. But there's just not enough force in here. I think the story is really interesting. It's cool. 2 carrots fighting and one's falling into hopefully a bowl of hot water, I guess, right? So come on, we've got a snake and a gorilla fighting, and he's just wrapped around his arm, and the composition is like this. Just not that dramatic, right? More drama. I mean, man, I could swear I've seen King Kong movies where he fights like a giant snake, definitely a T-Rex, right? So much more drama can happen here. We've got 2 stiff vertical rectangles, drama diagonals again, folks, right? My bet with you is that you render too early and too fast. You don't plan enough at the beginning to get the drama in there and then go to the render. You're getting way too fast into the details, into the weeds, as we say. Whew, we did it. Can you believe it? That was the fastest rundown I think I've done with that many different ideas in it in a long time. So I don't know if Stan's team can support me on this, but I thought maybe we'd have a little bit of drum roll, right? We're going to show 3rd place first. So our 3rd place winner is Gersich, right? Gersich. Really nice piece. All right. First of all, I think it was super clever to use dinosaurs with their tails, because that gives you another extra length of flow. Remember the Frazetta piece I showed at the beginning with the guy and the panther? Here's an excellent example of that, right? They are looking at each other. There's a story going on. And then my overlay here shows the rhythm of the red dinosaur and the green dinosaur and how they connect to one another. Low horizon, right? We've got a composition of about 90 to 10. Really like that as well. And I think the cleverness of just even your coloring. I love the desaturation. I like that you got red versus green. So you got opposites going against one another. It's good. It's very good. Yeah, congratulations, right? You got third place out of hundreds and hundreds of applicants, right? So great job. All right, drum roll again, maybe a little louder and a little faster. Second place, right? Our second place winner, Natalia. This piece is actually very sophisticated, I have to say, because of this. Not only do both bodies have a lot of force in them, but combined, I can feel the force pushing its way out the left side. You can feel the character on the left pulling to the left, trying to get away from this headlock from this other guy, right? And all the energy of both of them is carrying left. And the guy on the right is trying to fight that. And look at his anatomy. Look at the posing of the legs to try and go against the fight of this guy pulling to the left. That takes a lot of thinking, a lot of figuring out. I also love the clarity of the sharp rock, the triangle pointing here. Great job, right? Great job. That's what I was talking about. It's like a Vanna White moment. I'm going to show the rock. It's really clear. Silhouette's clear. And then last but not least, this darn little vulture. It feels like a very old school classic illustration, this like symbol of death over in the corner. It's fantastic, right? It's all great. This guy looks like he was about to win. He had this sharp weapon, right? And this guy's now going in for the kill, all the force he's pulling, all the anatomy, all the structure. Look at, you can see the phases here. But, you know, those of you I said tonight, like, you need to learn more structure. Look at all the form that's also going on. So he's got all this force and pulling, but look at how much planning went into structure and anatomy. It's really good. So congratulations. Second place. Amazing, right? Amazing. Great job, okay? Last but not least, first place. Big drum roll. All right. All right, here we go. First place winner is this. Why did I pick this? Torsos that are bent, right? This one's bent this way. This one's bent this way. They are attacking one another. Love it. I love how that force continues here through the arm and comes up through that arm and blocks this guy's face, which is coming from his back, right? So you got one like this, right? I love the drama of these two different angles. Fantastic. Right? I love the force of this leg coming in and reversing like that. This leg has a lot of force and rhythm, right? I love this arm back here with this fist. It's great. What I wish was better, right? I wish that this arm was just slightly more up to clear the edge of the leg a little more, and I wish this arm was not silhouetted behind itself. I wish this arm was up here somewhere, right? I would take this dark purple black in here and put the arm up here, right? For clear silhouette. You see? Just like that. The other thing I loved, which pushed this to number one, is the styling with the line. Loose, rough, fast line. It just adds to the drama and power of the scene, right? It's got a lot of drama and power in it. You don't have to make a clean drawing for it to be finished. Okay, and this is proof of that, right? Here's our first place winner today for force. So for all of you out there that feel like, I don't know what the end of my work is. The end is always not necessarily everything's perfect, tight, and clean. Doesn't have to be the end. The end can be something like this, okay? So that's it. Thank you everyone for watching. Again, thank you Stan and the team for helping put the video together. I hope all of you guys out there watching, all you artists who watched, enjoyed the critiques, learned more about force, something about composition, a couple of artists that I dropped in here that hopefully you'll look up and learn from as well. And I hope to help any and all of you at drawingforce.com, where you can find me 7 days a week. All right, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mike. Drawing the human figure can be difficult. Luckily, with Squarespace, building your personalized website doesn't have to be. Whether you're looking to build a website for your business, or you just need a place to showcase your art, Squarespace makes it easy. Understanding your site's performance is key to maintaining a successful web presence. Squarespace's built-in analytics tools lets you view important data like page views, traffic sources, time spent on site, most read content, audience geography, and much more. If you're looking for a members-only option for your site, Squarespace offers that too. Squarespace allows you to create members-only pages where your visitors can gain exclusive access to your premium content. You can manage your members, send emails, and leverage audience insights all with one easy-to-use platform. Sharing new content across all your social media accounts can be time-consuming. Squarespace cuts down on that wasted time with their built-in share option, where you can push your new content to all of your favorite social media platforms automatically. Start designing your own personalized website today. Go to squarespace.com for a free trial, and when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/Proko to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain.